following motion. Whereas on Monday, November the 19th, City Council decided not to service any new residential lots in the City of Moose Jaw in 2008, preferring rather to wait until the city's new West Park subdivision is complete in 2009. Whereas since that time, it's become apparent that there is the potential risk that the West Park subdivision could be delayed and that new lots in this new subdivision may not be available for sale until 2010. Therefore, be it resolved, and I so move, that City Administration be authorized to service Phase 1 of the West Heath subdivision plan consisting of 35 lots on Berkshire Court and Everton Crescent as set forth in the report dated November the 5th, 2007 from the City Manager and members of City Council's Executive Committee, and further that approval be granted for the servicing of Phase 2 of the West Heath subdivision plan consisting of 14 lots on Cotto Street West in the event that 20 lots from Phase 1 are sold by the 1st of May 2008 or 30 lots by June 1st, 2008. And further, that approval be granted for the servicing of Phase 3 of the West Heath subdivision plan, consisting of a further 46 lots in Berkshire Court and Everton Crescent in the event that 40 lots are sold from Phase 1 and or Phase 2 by July 1st, 2008. And finally, that the pricing for standard lots in the West Heath subdivision be increased to $784 per front foot, which includes charges for half connections and acreage fees. And if I receive a seconder, I'd be happy to speak to that, Your Worship.
Thank you.
Second that motion.
Seconded by Councillor Seguel-Henry.
Thank you, Worship.
Chow.
Speaking to that motion, as we've heard from Mr. Johnson previously, initially when this matter was considered by City Council, I think it is likely that Council was left with the impression that in fact this subdivision would certainly be coming on stream on 2009, and I think it's quite clear after that decision was made we received a report and a presentation from the City Administration as well as from the individual who has been contracted to develop that particular subdivision, and it has become clear that there's the possibility that this subdivision could be delayed beyond 2009 and in fact could be not online until 2010 or later than that by virtue of the fact that there are a number of issues beyond the City of Moose Jaw's control, including the availability and the scheduling of contractors and consultants, and that certainly, in my opinion, is new information.
Another question through you, Your Worship, to City Administration is how many lots have been purchased through the speculative housing program by, number one, contractors, and number two, private individuals? Do we know that number? And then also in regards to that, how many of those lots are held with a $2,000 deposit?
There are 124 lots right now where we've sold the properties either this year or last year, and that we have not, and the builders have not closed on that.
So, and those lots have a year since we changed the housing program back in August to do something on that, and then it just falls back into the city's inventory if they don't do anything?
That would be correct, that there were some that were sold before the change that would have had 2 years. Now again, the period of time for those lots will be coming to an end. And then there are the lots we sold this year where the contractors only have 1 year within which to close on the transaction.
So I'm still of the mindset that this is a short-term fix, these lots being developed in West Heath, and there are lots available to be developed on. And I would ask another question in regards to, you know, this issue of it being back on the floor here and new information is that, and maybe Your Worship you can answer this, but you know, I did read a quote from you on Discover Moose Jaw that said that a decision of council is a decision of council, and there's no new information on this issue, and then suddenly 2 days later, you know, Councillor Chow was bringing notice of motion on this one, and I still believe it's a short-term fix. There are lots available that are being held with a $2,000 deposit, which could fall back into the inventory. We have the infill program, which I know not everybody is going to want to do, but you know, I don't think a lot of people out there know that they could build a new home on an infill lot and get a complete 5-year 100% tax exemption for 5 years. That's a great program for this city. It's a wonderful program for the city, and I guess I'd like to know why. You know, why one day a decision of council is a decision of council, and then the next day it just seems to be tossed out with the wind. I think there's a lot of pressure out there from groups out there in the city that don't have all the facts. And I believe that some of my colleagues on council are being pressured by those groups because all of a sudden we're being negative because we're not offering lots for people to buy. Well, there are lots for people to build on, and one of the reasons why I brought the notice of motion about the speculative housing program forward is that if the economy is booming, we don't need those kinds of programs to support our economy. People, it's still a great deal to be building in Saskatchewan, and I don't believe that, I voted against this motion before, and there are reasons why I voted against it. There are lots available. I think it's a short-term fix. I think that people are excited about the new subdivision as well, and I think that might, hinder some of the sales that happen in West Heath. So I will not be voting in favor of this motion, the same as I have previous.
I would, if I were asked, I would rule that it's sufficient information to bring this item forward.
And I think that city administration has gone ahead and done this in such a good way, which is, we're just starting with a small number, a 1.175, $1,175,000 expenditure that says Moose Jaw is not closed for business. I mean, when they report in the Calgary Herald that you can't get a house in Moose Jaw, or you can't get a lot in Moose Jaw, people get the idea that we're closed for business, and we are not closed for business. We are interested in sustainable development, which is really what our new subdivision is going to speak to. I'm hoping that we will have some bylaws in place that will mandate that you use certain things that will decrease the amount of water that you use and things like that. I'm hoping that the grade that those plumbing lines go out on are such that we can use a smaller amount of water to flush the toilets with and things like that. So I'm hoping that these are sustainable things that we're going to put in our areas that we are developing. But I certainly think that it is certainly a possibility that with the way developments are going, that we may not have things available. I happen to read in that development plan that it takes ideally 2 years for the ground to settle before you want to start building on, laying down the final concrete and things like this. So certainly things could go longer than expected. And we do need to have lots available for people that are moving to this area. It is certainly simple. I mean, we could say, well, let's not build over there, let's wait, and then they just head down the road, 45 minutes. So I think this is really important for us to offer to the community of Moose Jaw.